You've seen it before. A new game releases and suddenly it's everywhere. Perfect scores, glowing reviews, a must-play title of the year. But is it really that good? Or is there something else at play? The gaming industry is worth billions, and game scores can make or break a studio. But what if we told you that those scores aren't always as honest as they seem? Today we expose the dark reality of how big studios manipulate game reviews to control the narrative and maximize their profits. Before diving into manipulation tactics, let's understand why review scores matter so much to publishers. High review scores don't just drive sales, they can literally determine financial bonuses for development teams. In 2010, Obsidian Entertainment famously missed their bonus payment for Fallout New Vegas because the game scored 84 on Metacritic instead of the required 85. As reported by Obsidian's Chris Avallone in a 2012 interview, if we had gotten an 85, we would have gotten a bonus, but we got an 84. Similarly, Bloomberg reported in 2021 that CD Projekt Red executives tied employee bonuses to both Cyberpunk 2077's release date and its critical reception, creating enormous pressure to ship a game that would score well despite its technical issues. Review aggregator sites like Metacritic and OpenCritic have become extraordinarily powerful in the industry. A study published in the International Journal of Computer Games Technology found a significant correlation between Metacritic scores and game sales, particularly in the first few weeks after release. This power translates directly to publisher stock prices. When Mass Effect Andromeda received middling reviews in 2017, Electronic Arts stock dipped by nearly 3% in the following days, as reported by MarketWatch. With developer bonuses, stock prices, and millions in potential revenue tied to these scores, it's no wonder publishers have developed sophisticated strategies to influence the review process. Let's examine how they do it. The most fundamental way publishers control narrative is by carefully managing who gets review copies and when. Almost every major game comes with a review embargo, a legal agreement preventing outlets from publishing reviews before a specific date. While publishers claim embargoes ensure all outlets get equal time with a game, they're often strategically timed. Take Cyberpunk 2077's infamous launch. As reported by Vice's Waypoint in December 2020, CD Projekt Red only provided PC review copies, not console versions, where the game performed dramatically worse. The embargo lifted on December 7, 2020, just 3 days before release, and only after millions had already pre-ordered. Similarly, when Assassin's Creed Unity launched in 2014 with significant technical issues, Ubisoft's review embargo lifted 12 hours after the game was already available for purchase, as reported by the BBC. This prevented potential customers from seeing reviews before buying. Publishers often provide early access only to friendly outlets or influencers. In 2016, former IGN editor Colin Moriarty revealed on the PlayStation podcast that some publishers maintained blacklists of outlets that had given negative reviews, cutting them off from review copies. Jason Schreier, in his book Press Reset, documented how some publishers track individual reviewers' scoring patterns, selectively providing review copies to journalists with histories of higher scores. This creates a powerful incentive for outlets to maintain favorable relationships with publishers. As Kyle Orland wrote in a 2016 Ars Technica piece, the implicit threat is always there. Give a game a bad score, and you might not get early access to the publisher's next big release. When outlets don't get early access, they face the coverage race, either purchasing the game at launch, putting them days behind competitors, or skipping coverage entirely. Both options hurt their traffic and revenue, creating a system where positive coverage is financially rewarded. The gaming media landscape presents an inherent conflict of interest. The same companies being reviewed are often the largest advertisers on gaming websites. In 2007, GameSpot editor Jeff Gerstmann was controversially fired after publishing a negative review of Kane and Lynch: Dead Men. While publisher Eidos Interactive had purchased significant advertising on the site, both parties denied the review led to his termination. However, in 2012, once his non-disclosure agreement expired, Gersman confirmed on the Giant Bombcast podcast that management had indeed fired him due to publisher pressure. While such explicit cases are rare, the influence is often more subtle. As reported in a Columbia Journalism Review analysis of gaming media, major publishers can spend hundreds of thousands on advertising campaigns surrounding major releases. This creates what former Destructoid editor Jim Sterling has called a soft pressure environment. Even without direct pressure, the business model creates a chilling effect. A 2017 academic study published in the Journal of Media Ethics found that 56% of surveyed game journalists reported feeling some degree of pressure to maintain positive relationships with game companies, with 33% acknowledging this sometimes influenced their coverage. The same study noted that declining traditional media revenues had intensified this pressure, as publications become increasingly dependent on exclusive access and advertising from the very companies they cover. Publishers have developed sophisticated strategies specifically targeting Metacritic scores, recognizing their outsized influence. One tactic is the careful timing of review copy distribution. Publishers often provide early access to outlets that historically give higher scores, while delaying copies to more critical publications. Since Metacritic's average is weighted toward early reviews from larger outlets, this can artificially inflate initial scores. Publishers also engage in what industry insiders call score calibration, approaching outlets after reviews are published to dispute scores they consider unfair. More controversially, some publishers have been accused of offering incentives for higher scores. In 2014, Warner Bros. Faced FTC action after YouTube creators revealed they were offered early access and payment for Shadow of Mordor coverage, with restrictions against showing bugs or expressing negative opinions. The FTC settlement documents confirm these practices. Some publishers employ more technical approaches. Several major publishers strategically release separate console and PC versions of their games on Metacritic, ensuring technical issues on one platform don't drag down the overall perception. When PC ports have issues, they're often released later, with separate Metacritic entries after the initial review cycle has established a positive score. Jim Sterling's YouTube channel, The Jimquisition, has extensively documented how publishers separate console and PC versions on Metacritic, as seen with Warner Bros. Arkham Knight, which had dramatically different PC and console experiences, but separate Metacritic listings. The manipulation of game review scores isn't a conspiracy theory. It's a natural outcome of a system where billions of dollars depend on critical reception. While most reviewers strive for honesty, the structural pressures and conflicts of interest are real and documented. The good news is that transparency is improving. Many publications now disclose when reviews were conducted at publisher events. OpenCritic identifies reviews based on controlled preview builds. And social media has given developers and journalists platforms to speak more candidly about these pressures. Some publishers like Devolver Digital and indie developers have moved away from review embargoes entirely, letting critics publish their honest thoughts whenever they form them. Big studios have mastered the art of controlling the narrative, manipulating game scores, and shaping public perception. But in the end, the power still lies with the players. Don't let flashy numbers and corporate-backed reviews dictate what you play. Seek the truth and play what you love. Because in gaming, the real score is the experience you take away from it. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.